Hi everyone, welcome to this tarot reading. Today's reading is a what will happen this week reading. Now this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find this video, it will just tell you what will happen for the rest of the week or the following week, depending on which day of the week you are watching this video. Now we have 3 piles to choose from: pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Use your intuition, let your intuition guide you to the correct pile. I've included gifs attached to each pile. If you would like to choose based on the gifs attached to each pile, may I suggest that you kind of let your eyes lose focus for a while and see which of the gifs do your eyes naturally drift to. I'll keep the GIFs looping on the screen for a while, for about a minute or so, and I'll leave the timestamps in the description box below. And we'll start in about a minute. Hi pile 1, before I begin with this reading, I would just like to make a slight clarification. I mentioned in the intro that these readings tell you about how your week will go depending on which day of the week you're watching this video. I realize that it's a little bit confusing. I think that in general these readings tell you the energy for the next 7 or so days. So if you're watching this on a Monday or Tuesday, it'll probably tell you about your energy for the rest of the week. If you're watching this like Wednesday or Thursday, just think of it as the energy for the next 7 days or so. Well, if you're watching it on a weekend, it'll probably tell you the energy for the next week. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's take a look at the cards. The first card here is the 7 of Cups. And then you have the Moon. The 7 of Cups and the Moon fell out together for this pile. And you have here the 10 of Wands. Followed by here, the Knight of Swords. You have Solitude. You have here Self-Love, Waning Crescent 4. Followed by Flower Moon Blossoming. And then Samaritan. Let's look at the attributes. The light attributes say to refine your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. And the shadow attribute says exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. And lastly, we have cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Okay, so looking at these cards, I think that this week for you, whenever you might be watching this, might be a little bit difficult. I say that because of First of all, the Seven of Cups and the Moon. These two cards are a little bit similar in a way. Let's start with the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is about wanting so many things, desiring so many things, wanting all the riches and wealth in the world, wanting money, status, but also wanting, say, love, happiness. Just wanting every aspect in your life to go perfect, to be almost magical and fairy tale like even. And you see someone gazing into the air and wishing for all these things to happen, wishing to almost grasp them in their palms, but these are just figments of their imagination. They are not sure how to manifest all the things that they want in your mind, because there's just so much. They are almost overwhelmed by what they desire. I think that some people see this card as a wishful thinking card, like, oh, you are, what's that? There's an idiom like too big for your boots or something like that. But basically, you are trying to have more than you can ever achieve. That you are delusional almost. But I don't really see this card in this way. Of course, there are some people who can be a little bit delusional, but I don't think this card is about that, especially for this reading, and especially for this deck, because it first of all, this is from the Tarot of the Divine deck. Every card uses a different a fairy tale or folklore or a piece of mythology to illustrate the meaning of the cards. And sometimes I like to read the cards based on the illustration of the cards and not just the conventional meaning. And for this, we know that Aladdin, he, based on the fairy tale, or at least what I know of the fairy tale, is that he basically he got his happy ending in the end. Now, I think that here, what the Seven of Cups is saying is that you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed at this moment. And based on the context of this reading, what will happen in the next week or what will happen this week. I think that you have so many goals you want to achieve in such a short span of time. And you want all of it to happen perfectly, and you're just feeling a little bit lost, like you don't know how to proceed, but you so desperately want all of it to happen so soon and so perfectly. So I think it's just a feeling of a little bit desperate almost. I don't think it's something that will have a bad consequence if it doesn't happen. I think it's just personal goals you set for yourself. For example, you decide, oh, I want to lose this much weight by this week, or I want my skin to be clear, and at the same time, I want to achieve this particular goal in school or at work. I want to reconnect with all my friends, and I want to do something for my family. It could be that you have so much on your to-do list in such a short period of time, and the goals are, I mentioned that the Seven of Goals is about having very lofty ideals, but in this case, I don't think it's something like, I want to be a famous singer within the next seven days or so. No, I don't think it's that. I think that you want to achieve everything perfectly. You have a very specific goal in your mind, and a very specific way in which you want the goal to manifest. But you're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed because there's just so much you want to achieve. So, okay. Following that, we have the Moon. Now, this fell out with the Seven of Cups, and I think it's very fitting. I think these two cups are are very similar. Now the moon is about illusions. You see here, the moon is reflected on the pond or on the waters, and I think in the guidebook that comes with this deck, it talks about the two raccoons by the side, and how one is looking up and the other is looking down, feeling unsure on which one is real. I think this illustrates the whole illusory aspect of the moon very well, that you are not sure. It's like the feeling that you're not sure what is real anymore. And in this context, I think it's that perhaps you had a very clear plan on how you are going to achieve all your goals, but sometimes it's just not going well, or perhaps you might be starting to have self-doubts, not just on whether you can achieve the goal or not, but also on whether is it something that you want or not. Because at this point, it almost feels like the goals feel more like a burden than being something that you excitedly want to achieve. And this thing about goals, we want to achieve them because we think that achieving them will make our lives richer, will make our lives more fulfilling, will make us feel happier, right? But sometimes we are so driven by the idea of what if I don't achieve this goal, that the goal starts to feel more like a burden than something that would fulfill your life. And you, instead of being driven by the desire, or rather the excitement, the thrill of having that goal manifested, you're driven by the fear and anxiety of having it not manifesting. Because that's what the moon also talks about, right? It talks about fear, anxiety, uncertainty. And the Ten of Wands is about burden. It's about holding on to too much. It goes with the Seven of Cups as well, holding on to too much. And the Knight of Swords. I think the Knight of Swords is the advice for you for how to deal with a situation here. The Knight of Swords is, well, it's someone just charging into it and not thinking this much and just courageously doing what they can. They're not bothered by what they cannot do, whether they can achieve a certain goal, whether they can achieve a certain goal in the perfect manner that they had planned, because, well, there's just no planning with the Knight of Swords. They just go in there and do what they can. And I think that even if you can't achieve all your goals in this short span of time, it's okay. I think you have time, because let's look at this card, Cracked Open. Rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. I think at this point you might feel like nothing is going right, that everything has gone down, is in a gutter, nothing is going right, you feel like nothing will go well. But that's the thing, being at the rock bottom, things can only become better, right? Things will only become better in the future. This card is telling you that now that you are at this point in life, even if it's not something as drastic as being at the rock bottom, if you just shift your mindset a little, be more open to good things that will happen to you, be more open to uncertainties and unplanned things that are unplanned, your situation will become better soon. I think there's a very nice passage from the guidebook. Let me look for it. Okay, here it is. When your heart cracks open, a space is created for your soul to more fully enter. When your soul cracks open, a space is created for the grace of the Holy Spirit to enter. Let your trials, your sorrows, your pains, and your losses transform you into more and more of yourself. I think this expresses what I want to say more eloquently than I could ever. So basically, it's that perhaps in your situation now, you can see things or experience things that you might not have experienced if things went smoothly, and these new perspectives, these new lessons, these or the new things that will happen in your life might enrich your life in different ways. So just try to be a little bit more open, embrace the unexpected, know that things will become better, and just do what you can for now. And besides that, I also see that this week for you, the next 7 days for you is not really about trying to achieve all your different goals. You should do what you can. Just try to be a little bit more spontaneous and do things based on what you feel like in that moment. Almost try to let go of the different things on your timeline. But it's also about having time for self-love. Self-care is very important. It's very important to take care of our mental health, our physical health, so that we have the energy, so that we have the drive to work towards our goals. And I see that with self-care, you might just blossom. And I keep thinking that this might be beauty goals, almost like perhaps you want to achieve you want to change your appearance in a certain way. And sometimes it's little things that you can't control, like you want your hair to grow longer in a very short period of time. You want your skin to clear up, or you want to achieve a certain weight, be it weight gain or weight loss in a very short period of time. And it's also about blossoming of perhaps just a harvest of your goals, like for work, or for work, or for school, or for your ambitions. I think that with self-love, like whatever you want will start to begin to blossom. And the thing about blossomings and harvests is that there's a certain season for each and every plant, right? And I think that for all the little seeds that you plant, there is it will happen in divine timing. Now, if you don't believe in the divine, just know that it's meant to happen in due time. But perhaps just now it's not the time. The next 7 days is not the time for it to happen, and it's okay to just let things happen slowly on their own. Now, I'm not very good with focusing on romance readings, on romantic predictions when I'm doing readings like this. I usually, or rather I prefer to read romance readings on a separate reading on their own. But for this pile, I think that this week isn't really about romance for you. It doesn't matter whether you're in a relationship or not, or just your love life is not the focus of this week. Especially so because of the solitude card here. Now this card is about self-care, is about looking inwards and having some time to yourself and trying to recharge yourself. It doesn't mean that. I think I realized when I was talking about Seven of Cups in the beginning. I think I mentioned that perhaps you are trying to do more for your family and friends, trying to connect more with them. I think that maybe you're having some difficulty with the people around you, and you want to resolve all that soon, but I think the next 7 days is not the time. The next 7 days is not about trying to be a Samaritan for the people around you. It's about trying to help yourself. It's about having time to yourself, having space for you to breathe. And with this card, besides, not being a Samaritan for other people, not trying to help everyone so much that you don't have time to yourself, I think it's also telling you that perhaps in the next 7 days someone will try to help you in unexpected ways, or that an unexpected incident will brighten your day. Or on one of the days someone might help you with a very small task, and it might loosen your load a little. So I think it's saying that don't worry, things will look up soon. And with this, I think that's all I have for this pile. And I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Hi Group 2, now before I jump into this reading, I would just like to make a clarification. I mentioned in the intro that this reading tells you about your week, be it this week or the following week, depending on which day you are watching this video, and I realize that it's a little bit confusing, but basically these cards give you a sense of give you a sense of what the next 7 days will be like. Okay, now without further ado, let's look at the cards. The first card here is the Five of Wands, followed by the Queen of Wands, the Emperor, and the Sun. Now immediately I see that this is probably going to be a very exciting time for you. And for the Oracle cards, we have Last Quarter Moon, Gratitude, Storyteller, and for the light attributes, you have the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols, followed by the shadow attributes, making up tales that harm others. And you have your Power, followed by Messenger, serious energy, bringing harmony and balance. So looking at the tarot cards, I think that this is going to be a very fiery, passionate week for you. All the cards here speak or illustrate fire in some way. You've got a lot of you have some wand energy here. You have the sun, a great big ball of fire in the sky. And you have the Emperor. Now the Emperor is, the astrological sign associated with the Emperor is Aries. And Aries is, as we all know, is a fire sign. So a lot of fire energy here. And let's begin with the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is about competition, but it's about having so much drive, almost relishing competition almost. And I think that this week it's almost a very competitive week for you, and you are enjoying that challenge, and you feel like you will definitely come out on top. So if you are I think if you are someone who's sort of a high achiever, this would be a very exciting week for you. And with both wands card, I sense that it could also be a very creative week for you, especially when we look at the wands and the storyteller card. Perhaps you like to write, for instance, or you like to do creative things, tell stories in some way. You don't necessarily have to be a writer. Perhaps you're in theater, perhaps, I don't know, perhaps you just craft very interesting tweets, for instance. Or, you're very interesting on social media and very creative on social media. And the Queen of Wands is also has a very outgoing, enthusiastic personality. And like what I said about social media, perhaps this is a time for you to showcase your creativity online. The Five of Wands doesn't really talk about creativity, but I do sense that with the Queen of Wands, there's an element of creativity involved. Although the Emperor is less so about creativity, but about getting things done. It's also about governance and knowing all your subjects well, the strengths and weaknesses of your subjects, and trying to rule over them all in a just manner, and just having authority over them. Now, I think that perhaps you'll be coming into a leadership position, or you'll be taking up a leadership position. It doesn't even have to be anything big like getting a promotion at work. It could just be that perhaps you and another group of people are facing a problem, and you kind of take charge and show them the way. This could be something like planning for an event, for instance. And with the sun tells you that everything in your path will be bright and will be full of hope and happiness and bright optimism. Like everything will go well for you, basically. The sun is also about a renewal of energy. For some of you, you might have experienced some difficulties, but now it's the time for you to reap your rewards, to reap your hard work, and for you to come into your being. Now, the sun also comes after the moon in tarot, and the moon is about uncertainty. But know that the period of uncertainty is over. You are coming into your being, you are taking charge, and everything is going well, going fine. More than fine, actually. It's a very exciting time for you. I think you're also achieving all the goals on your to-do list. Perhaps you've found a way to make things work for you. With the Emperor card and power, I also see that you feel very in charge this week, and you feel like you almost feel like you're blessed with supernatural power, not necessarily physical power, but perhaps perhaps something like mental will. Perhaps you have a very strong focus this week, and you are able to get a lot of things done. Or perhaps the Emperor card is about governance, right? It's not just governing your own, it's not just doing your own tasks well and having being in charge of your own business, but it's also about governing other people. Perhaps you feel like this week you have power over other people almost. I'm not saying that you're manipulating them, just with the Five of Wands for context. I think that if you're in a very competitive situation, perhaps you're in a very competitive job, or you might feel like you have the power to be better than all the other people, to excel, to win, basically. With the Power card and the Sun, I feel like you're blessed by. Sorry, my camera is being wonky. Yeah, with the Power card and the Sun, I feel like it's almost like you're blessed by some sort of divine intervention. But okay, the image I get here is that it's like the sun is always looking out for you. The sun has your back. The sun always shines on you. That you are meant to succeed. And I do see that you'll be achieving your goals, like just checking off all the tasks on your to-do list easily, and you feel very in charge. But I do also get the sense that you will be getting recognition, because of the sun and the Emperor also. Actually, with all the tarot cards, I get a sense of recognition, because we have a court card here, we have the Emperor, we have competition, and being in the sun, being in the limelight almost. We have power, and if you are a creative type, perhaps something of that is born of your creativity would be receiving praise and acclaim. With the Queen of Wands and the Emperor, I think that. Okay, let's start with the Queen of Wands first. Let's look at the Queen of Wands first. The Queen of Wands is a very flirty, very sexual personality. I think that perhaps this week you're feeling very, very confident of yourself. Yes, confidence with the sun as well. You're feeling very confident, and you might be feeling a little bit adventurous in your love life. Perhaps you might be, if you're in a relationship, perhaps you might be just feeling sexier than usual. Perhaps you might be taking the initiative to do something for your partner. Or you might be, perhaps if your partner is facing some difficulties, you might be solving the issue for them. And if you're looking for a relationship, I also see that you might be having a romantic progress. Basically, you might be dating a lot. I don't know, with the Queen of Wands and the Emperor, they're not really a set. The Emperor has the Empress, right? And the closest court card, the closest court card to the Empress is the Queen of Pentacles. But I do somewhat see the Queen of Wands and the Emperor to be related. Perhaps you will meet someone who is not necessarily a soulmate, or not necessarily someone who the type that you date normally, but you might have some fiery, passionate connection between you and the other person. Perhaps they might be a little bit rigid normally, while you are very free-spirited, but you will find some sparks of romance between you and the other person. So I do see some positive, optimistic outlook for your love life. With the Storyteller card, the Emperor card, and the Messenger card, I sense that you are it feels like you're going to be a conduit or a mouthpiece for other people almost. You could be telling their stories. Just an example, perhaps you might be standing up for someone on social media, or perhaps you might be helping out with your community, helping to let some voices be heard. Perhaps you'll be a messenger for them, or you will bring some good news for them. And the thing about storyteller is that I see it as a two-way street. You're not just writing the story, you are also, or rather you could also be experiencing someone else's story and feeling connected with them. So I do see that for this week you'll be feeling connected with other people, not just romantically, but perhaps with your community, with your family, with your friends. You might be lending them a listening ear and giving them advice. Because the emperor is also someone who gives advice, right? And you might be a pillar of support for them. Just not necessarily being very compassionate, but I do sense that you are lighting up their lives with your positive energy. And with gratitude, I think it's telling you that it's also important to be thankful towards other people, because well, you might be helping them out this week, but perhaps they might have helped you in the past, and also that they might be feeling gratitude towards you. So this would be a good time to just take note of all the blessings that you have, all the good things that are happening to you, or the goals that you are achieving, and be thankful for them, and perhaps more good things will come your way. With the messenger card here, I think this card is about balancing your divine feminine and divine masculine. Now your divine feminine is basically your intuition, your receptiveness, and your divine masculine is about action. It's about governance. The Emperor card is basically is an epitome of the divine masculine. I think this card is telling you that you might be feeling very in charge, feeling very powerful. You might be totally in sync with your divine masculine, taking action to achieve all the goals in your life, taking action to help other people. But it might also be a good time to connect with your divine feminine and intuition, because it might guide you for give you some guidance for your future, give you some guidance on what you should do beyond these 7 days. Now, with the Queen of Wands, the queens in tarot are represented by the element of water, and the Queen of Wands is a combination of water and fire. I think it might be telling you to perhaps be a little bit less of the Emperor and more of the Queen of Wands. Be a little bit more in tune with your intuition, be a little bit more spontaneous and open to other people rather than being rigid. Aries and the Emperor is about structure, right? It is telling you that this week is going to be exciting for you. Everything will be right, but you should think about it would be better if you were being more spontaneous and being more connected with your passions and creativity and letting loose of that structure. I think you might feel like you might be very inclined to having a very strong structure in your life, because you want to succeed, you want to win against other people. But I think the cards are telling you that you should also consider perhaps the emotions of other people, be a little bit more considerate. It's great that you are winning against them. It's great that you are coming out on top in a competition, but be nice about it, and also be more in tune with your intuition. So two aspects of the divine feminine, and have gratitude about it. Be receptive. Be aware of all the good things that are happening to you. Because this is a 7 days reading, right? It's a reading of what will happen in the next 7 days. So I'm not saying that things will turn sour after the 7 days, but you should be a little bit more in the moment, and be grateful of what you have this week. Just relish the moment, enjoy the moment, and not be in such a frenzy. I get the sense that you might be in a frenzy, on a high almost, at all the successes that are happening to you, that you might be almost delirious with trying to maintain that success. But I think the cards are telling you to take some time to just enjoy your success, celebrate, be thankful for what you have, and try to connect with your intuition to let it guide you for what to do and how you should proceed beyond these 7 days, so that you could be continued to be guided by the sun, to be blessed by the sun, to be blessed by that positive energy. Now this is all I have for group 2. I hope this resonated with you, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching this. Hi group 3, so just a small clarification before I jump into the reading. I mentioned in the intro that these cards, this reading tells you about this week or the following week, depending on which day of the week you are watching this video. I realize that it's a little bit confusing, but what basically the cards tell you are the energies for the next 7 days. So with that, putting that aside, let's look at the cards. The first card here is the Six of Swords. You have Judgment, followed by the Knight of Coins and the High Priestess. And for your oracle cards, you have this Waxing Gibbous one, Discernment. You have here Rescuer for the light attributes. It says, provide strength and support to others in crisis. Acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Shadow attributes. Assumes that the rescued will reciprocate. Keeps the rescued one needy. You have Fall into my arms. Surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. And you have Fulfillment. So group 3, I think that the next 7 days for you would be experiencing some changes. It's not necessarily one big change for the better or a change for the worse, but just you might be experiencing a shift in energies, changes in your life. For example, you might have just moved to a new place, and you might be trying to get used to your new situation, or you might have a new job. And well, because it's the new year, you might have to be working with new people, meeting new people, and having a new situation to get used to. Yeah, I didn't. This is a timeless reading, but if you are watching this at the start of the year, which is the time of this upload, then I think it would make sense that you would have a lot of changes in your life and a lot of getting used to. Okay, let's start with the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is about treading unknown waters and letting go of what that does not serve you and trying to reach a place that serves you better. However, the end is not in sight. It's a state of progress. You are not sure of what is going to come to you next. And you can see that in this illustration. I think the little boy here is Perseus from Greek mythology. Perseus, who would later grow up to slay Medusa, basically become a hero for the people, right? So from this card, I do sense that you are in a period of transition, but there would be good things ahead that you might not be able to see now. Of course, there are feminist readings for the tale of Perseus and Medusa, that perhaps Perseus is the antagonist here and Medusa is a wrongly oppressed female, to put it simply. So I do feel like there is this element of uncertainty in the future, and an element of uncertainty of the role you would play in the future, between you and your community, you and your workplace, or just you and the kind of person you would be in a relationship, if this is talking about a relationship, not necessarily romantic, but it could be relationship with your family or your friends or just with anyone. I do also get a sense from this card that you are being guided by someone. For some reason, I see you more as Perseus, a child not knowing what is going to happen next, and someone is trying to guide you towards a destination. Someone is trying to guide you through this turbulent waters. So there might be someone in your life right now who is kind of a rescuer for you. However, do note that you should never wait to be rescued. You can accept help from this person, but you should also try to take charge of your own life. You don't necessarily have to control everything, be controlling of or rather try to control everything that goes on in your life and try to have everything happen a certain way, but do note that you need to take some initiative and take responsibility for what happens in your life. I know that I sound a little bit grave here, but it could be something lighthearted. For example, you might have a mentor at work or at school, and that person might be helping you out a lot, but you might feel that you might start to rely on that person for everything and end up asking them to do their things, to do your tasks for you instead of trying to learn it on your own. It could be something like that. And with discernment and the Six of Swords, you're not sure of where your destination is right now. You're not sure of where you're heading towards. And I see that with the discernment card as well. You see that there are clouds here clouding this woman's vision. However, she is holding on to something concrete in her hand, something she can feel, something that will bring her knowing. This is like an oracle almost. She can't see what's in the oracle yet, but she can sense its energies. So I think that this would be time for you to connect to your intuition, the High Priestess as well. The High Priestess is about intuition. So it's okay that you don't know what the future holds for you yet, but you should listen to your intuition, and perhaps there you will find your answers. And with the discernment card, it's also interesting because, well, let me show you what's written in the guidebook. I was looking at the guidebook earlier. So just a quick note. Before I film this video, I do open the cards up for a quick look and just take a look at the guidebook to see if I can get any more messages than what I receive intuitively. And also, I find that the guidebooks often present what I want to say a lot more eloquently than I can at the spur of the moment. So looking at this guidebook, it mentions that this card illustrates the waxing gibbous moon, the first waxing gibbous moon in the cycle of the moon, and that the overall theme of this part of the moon cycle are action and will. Now, I think that if you're not sure of what to do next because you're not even sure of where you are headed, right? You feel like things are out of your control. I think that it would be a good time to perhaps do some goal setting. So for example, if you're facing a change in work or school, it might be good to focus on smaller goals first. And it would also be good to follow your intuition. With discernment, I get the sense of following your intuition as well. I think that you intuitively know the next step for you, the step that you should take, but you need to take some time to perhaps take some time for yourself to meditate, to journal, to do whatever that connects you with your intuition. And in order to look past the clouds for the answer that you need. Now, you might not get the answer this week, but I do see that you have the potential to get the answers you need in due time. This is not to say that you should do nothing in this period of time. With discernment, like I said just now, taking action and the Knight of Coins, I think that, oh dear, what's going on with my camera? There it is. I think that it would be good for you to take small steps, plant the seeds, start planting seeds that would take hold, that would blossom in the future. So with the Knight of Coins, like with the depictions in the Knight of Coins, the Knight is always gazing far into the horizon, into the road ahead. But he doesn't see that he holds a pentacle with him. In some renditions, he's holding the pentacle in his hand. Whereas in the others, well, in this one, it's on the head of the animal he is riding. I kind of see the pentacle, I kind of relate the pentacle with the orb here, the oracle, the crystal ball in the discernment card. Now, with the pentacles do not usually talk about intuition. That's the suit of cups, right? And sometimes even the suit of swords. But in this case, I see the pentacle as an answer that you need. That you're not seeing because, you're being clouded. Your eyes are glazing over the pentacles and trying to look into the future, trying to figure out what is going on in the future when you should be focusing on the present, because you have an answer for what you should do in your present, even if you don't know what is going to happen in the future. So the Knight of Coins is also about taking small steps. Slow and steady wins the race. It's about working very slowly but surely, and knowing that your goal, you will achieve your goal sometime in your future. But now it's not the time to worry about when you will achieve your goal. So don't look too far into the future. Don't worry about your destination. Focus on the pentacle for now. Focus on what you have for now. And with the Judgment card, I do see that you will be receiving there might be some unforeseen circumstances, or you might be receiving, say, the fruits of your labor, some seeds that you have planted in the past, that will come into play in your near future in the next 7 days. Perhaps this is something outside of your control. Perhaps this is related to the pentacle, to the thing that you need to do in this present moment. Just to give you an example, perhaps if this is a workplace situation, if this is a work situation, you might be in a job that you feel unhappy about. You might not see much future in this job. However, this might be the time for you to focus on doing your job well, focus on doing on what you can do, because you might be, if you do your current job well, you might be able to get a good recommendation for your current employer that would help you in getting a better job in your future. Now, this is just an example, so don't worry too much about your current situation, or rather try to focus on the good for now. Try to focus on your intuition. I think your answers would come your way. Now, using that job example again, I think some of you might feel unhappy at your current work situation, but you don't know what you want to do next. It's not just that the economy is bad, it's that you don't know what is out there for you. You don't know what it is you truly want to do. So you're kind of just you try to look ahead, but you don't see any answers in sight. I think that in that case, now would be a good time to try to take some time to explore your to explore what you're good at. Use your intuition, but perhaps you could also say take classes online, talk to different people. I do think that with Judgment and Rescuer, there would be a situation or a person coming to you that would help you have more discernment, have a clearer vision of what you want to do in the future. And I say what you want to do because of the work example I gave just now, but it could even be a situation with your relationships. Perhaps someone would give you advice on how to solve a relationship problem that you are facing. Perhaps if you are facing a romantic issue, you might know whether you should continue with this romantic attachment or break it off once you are tuned in with your intuition. Now, I think this fall into my arms card is very telling. This card is basically saying that there will be ups and downs in life, and right now you just have to ride the waves, ride the turbulent waters, because there would be a calmer future ahead. If you look at this card, you see that they are on turbulent waters now, but the waters ahead are calmer. Even if they do not see the destination, the waters ahead will be smoother, the road ahead will be smoother. Right now it's not the time for you to worry about where you're headed. And again, I do think that there is someone in your life, or some presence in your life that is guiding you, that knows where you should head next with this and the Rescuer card. Perhaps even the High Priestess card, there is a guiding force that is leading you to your destination. You might not see the destination now, but know that there is a destination for you. With the Judgment card, I also see that there is some sort of place you need to be at in the future. There is it feels like destiny almost, because with Perseus as well, like he is destined to slay Medusa, right? If I remember the story correctly. even if you don't believe in destiny, I do sense that something um, in your situation might change. There might be something coming into your life. This could be something related to what you did in the past. For example, if you helped out somebody in your past, this person might come back into your life and give you help, give you the help that you need in the near future. Perhaps you might rely on this person. This person is almost like a mother to you, a compassionate guiding force in your life, and it's okay to surrender to them and to let them hold your hand through this situation, to let them be your rescuer. However, like I said just now, don't be a damsel in distress. Don't rely on them to do everything for you. You should try to hold your own vision and try to figure things out on your own. So with the fulfillment card, perhaps at the end of the 7 days, you might be seeing some results. Perhaps there might be fulfillment for you after the 7 days. Now, with the fulfillment card, it's not just about things coming to fruition. For example, it's not just about achieving a goal. It can be about the seeds of your hard work coming to fruition and you reaping the rewards of your hard work, having concrete goals manifested. But fulfillment it's a feeling, right? It's intangible. I think it could be telling you that try to find fulfillment in your current situation, because your current situation might not be that bad. It might feel uncertain. I don't think that you are very unhappy in your current situation. It's just that there might be ups and downs in your week in the next 7 days. But I think it's telling you to focus on the little things, the little achievements that you have, and be thankful for them. Try to focus on the positives of your current situation. Going back to the work example again, perhaps even if you don't really like your job, you're not really happy at your job, you do get a little sense of fulfillment when you do something well. So try to focus on that, or you try to look for other things that feel well. You might not know what other. Try to take up a new hobby or something. You might not know what you want to do now, but perhaps even the search for a new hobby, the search for what you want to do can be fulfilling, because this card is about embracing the ups and downs, right? Know that the ups and downs of life are what makes your life interesting, and what gives you memories that you will appreciate in the future. With the fulfillment card, there's also a very interesting part in the guidebook, a very interesting metaphor in the guidebook about the image that is presented in your card. It's the laden peach tree. The peach tree blooms early, and because of this, it is often a symbol of spring and the renewal of life. It is also the Chinese symbol of a happy marriage and fertility. In some traditions, it stands for immortality. Ripe peaches also portend fertility. Oh gosh, what is this word? Well, I'm gonna skip past it. And great fulfillment. In Korean traditions, the peach represents happiness, riches, honors, and longevity. In the Renaissance, peaches represented the heart and love, and speaking the truth from one's heart. Again, this card is about a feeling. It's not necessarily about manifesting a goal or manifesting something in your life, but with this and the judgment card, I think that there might be something new, an occurrence, or something almost like something fated going to come into your life, or perhaps you will receive a judgment for something that you did that will bring you fulfillment. It might not be what you had wanted to manifest, but it is good for you to focus on what the little happiness that life brings you at this current moment. Or it could also be saying that the beginning of your week might feel a little bit turbulent. There might be ups and downs and uncertainties. It might be a little bit hard, but at the end of the certain days, you might be able to find some fulfillment in the work that you have put in. You might be able to find some fulfillment from your intuition. You might have a mental breakthrough. You might start to see some light for what lies ahead in the future. So it is also mentioned in the guidebook that this card is about early spring, right? Perhaps you're in the early spring, it's still a little frosty. Your current situation might still feel a little frosty, but know that spring is coming. There is also another part about longevity and immortality. If you look at folklores and traditions, like the magical peach of immortality, from what I remember at least, it takes a long time for the fruit to be made, I think. Basically what I'm trying to say, that I apologize for being vague, but basically what I'm trying to say is that this is the prelude to a long-term situation. You are facing uncertainties now, but as long as you continue to take little steps, continue to persevere, your goals will take fruit someday. But right now, it's important for you to focus on little things that bring you fulfillment, little things that bring you happiness, because your situation might be a little bit rocky now. I do also think that you're experiencing the prelude of having your hopes and dreams come true. Now, this is only a 7 days card, so if it feels a little bit mellow, a little bit melancholic, don't worry about it. One more thing, the Knight of Coins and Judgment. Again, if you put in effort, I think you will receive the judgment that you want. So, also note the kind of energies that you are putting out into the universe. If you do something nice for other people, don't assume that they will reciprocate. Don't expect that they will do something for you. Don't do things for others out of wanting them to return the favor. With the Rescuer card and Fulfillment, I also think that perhaps you are helping other people out a lot, but you might feel like they are not reciprocating the favor, or they are not being as grateful as they should. But it could be telling you that you should try to feel fulfilled from the act itself, and not focus on the results or focus on what you gain. If you do that, you might have the judgment or the result that you want in the future, that perhaps good things might come to you in the future, because good karma, right? With that, I think that's all I have from this reading. This is just a 7-day reading. There might be ups and downs for you in the next 7 days, but good things might come next, or perhaps your situation might persist past the 7 days. I don't know. I hope that, but I do see that good things would be coming for you in the future, so not to worry too much about it. The situation here is a problem of time, like whether it will come in the near future, whether you will see your destination in the near future, or perhaps it's something that, or perhaps this is a long-term situation and it's something that you just have to get past, or you just have to experience. This is all I have for this reading. I hope this resonates with you, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for watching.